Chapter 6. Break-free experiences. A quick sample of my writing group discussion. I'm having trouble engaging people. Let's see if I can get anyone to help me out. Write a small biography of yourself who will describe your flaws, talents, and quality the best way possible. Instruction. I will score you on a scale of 20 on your writing style and choice of words. Be creative, but also clever. A break-free experience, written on Tuesday, December 13, 2016. I had lived to the fullest, and each and every moment was a new experiment in profound joy. In my mind, it is only later in life, around my 27 years old, that I came close to start to experience a dark side of life that I had never seen before. I had gone through an enormous amount of a hard time and poor encounter, but nothing who couldn't be forgotten. Even now, it implicated many trouble and confusion. I figure nothing else as bad as my mild crisis, depression, could occur, because my high positive energy always strive, but after fighting and fighting, seeking to test it all, feel it all, lived it all. One day after having to live with a mentally ill mind for 4 years and battling for my freedom of speech and mind every day, my day-to-day adventure and experiences started to get imprint in me. Instead of just passing through, I started to become those people, little by little. When I say people, I'm referring to people I have come across my path, felt what they feel, act like they act, because my pain didn't have enough vocabulary to express and fight back. I kept trying to get out of it, and I felt people figure me out, and they actually thought I was that. My God, all of these years I had so much empathy for others. I gave my heart out, my genuine help to anyone in need, but I never assumed that not everyone was the same way. I could tell some people were bitter, even at a young age, but my eye towards the humankind was scripturally hearty. And when I switched to this other side that I didn't know ever existed, big disappointment for sure. So this is why my book title is definitely the right choice. This underground sorrow, cruel humanity, unkind population, filled up with pain and sadness, loneliness, perversity, insanity. I wished that I was back and simply complaining about bad dates or bad restaurants, like a typical single, outgoing, happy woman. During this period, I was tied up inside. I became a social phobic for 3 years almost. I rarely talk to anyone. Once in a while, I'll be my old self back, but rarely I'll paint and write to express myself, but hardly couldn't communicate with anyone beside on email. Even writing became pain, a world of battling humiliation. I would act in different ways. I spent all this time trapped, thinking, why can't they see me? I'm here. Inside, my thoughts were the same. The value of myself was the same. My passions were the same. But the feeling of all my past admired friends and family members who now didn't look upon me anymore. At least this is what I felt back then. Now I see that I can't blame them for failing. I was completely devastated. The hate, grudge she made me endure. It seems like her mission to show me an acceptance for a lifetime. Being a mother now, I realize that it isn't easy to raise a wild child, and it isn't easy to let them grow up when they're older and treat them as adults either. But even though it's extremely hard, you have to try many times, sometime. And I think once you're a mother, you always want to see your kids as little kids, no matter what. Everyone feels this way. I was right up to a code of complete lies and misinformation about who I was and what my true purpose and goals were, like someone is creating you and telling you who you are to the rest of the world without your consent. When they realize something, and even though I tried everything and anything to break free, nothing never worked. I had to find a new solution, get deeper, much deeper than I ever had before. Conclusion? I did get deeper, and believe me, it was a long battlefield. But when I resurfaced, I felt liberated. I embraced all the joy and great life experience, and I had and forget those insignificant 6 miserable years because they aren't worth remembering. Besides, the few good memories in there, I longer and smile on the road to happiness with a wiser mind and more mature comportment, and I choose to get back to my self-development once again. A supporter artist comment, it's interesting to read about your journey. Thank you for sharing that. I have been through that many times, in fact. Thankfully, going deep into myself has helped greatly. I think those moments in our lives happen to help push us further. Today, I see them as blessing, because if not for them, I would never be who I am today. What it took for me was to fully take responsibility for how I was feeling. I took action in my own life, whether before I was simply allowing the wind to blow me around. Chapter 7. Comic Tales. Let's get into a comic tale. Title: Awkward Encounters. Let's meet, he said. Okay, I said. When? Next week? At the mall cinema? On Sunday afternoon? Okay, I said. I'll be there. Sunday comes, and nobody is there to be found. Okay then, I'll just drive myself home. Sniff, sniff. 2 weeks later, I got a message. What happens? I asked. I got lost, and the truth is, I was too shy to meet you. I'm thinking, at 34, you should be past being shy on a blind encounter. This is BSH. Then a poetic, romantic chapter takes on for the next couple of days. Finally, I will meet you, he says. Okay, I said, let's meet for lunch in a southern, cozy place. I'm early, sitting at the table, and some women are looking straight at me. Weird. What the hell does she want? But she turns her head away, and then as I go to the front door, I see a very small guy on a wheelchair entering. I hold the door open, and he asks, "Are you my date?" I said, "I must be." Then we sit and have the most amazing time. When I realized that woman was staring was indeed just his sister watching over him. Haha, after this he disappears. I guess he was fearing the judgment and was too afraid to see me again. Morality? The nicest guy aren't those with big muscles and big car and wallet. The louder someone is, the smallest they usually are. A poem published in 2017, titled Fireworks. Bloody ashes propulsion. Explosion through motion. Lighting miracles in the skyline. Drawing her earring with sound of thunder by as burning fingertip and trying to send out the biggest fireworks into thin air. Rest of residue laying on the ground. Hot dogs stand and cotton candy dinners serve to admire the magnificent celebration of light. Scent expanding her sightseeing and smells for higher visualization and satisfaction by VB, author and creator of the Creative Art 16 Gallery and Workshop. The wild adventure of a French-American girl, a mysterious union. Books. Title: August 8. New story. A man with the most atrocious face once took me on a weekend of a lifetime in 2007. Behind his scooter up onto the hills of the French Garonne and narrow dirt road. We danced all night, talked all day, and laughed like idiots. This guy had the whole town in his pocket. He was the most friendly guy. His courtesy and human decency were uncommon, and his gallantry to be admired. I remember being repulsed by his face and couldn't imagine having to date this man. Chapter 7. Comic Tales. Let's get into a comic tale. Title: Awkward Encounters. Let's meet, he said. Okay, I said. When? Next week? At the mall cinema? On Sunday afternoon? Okay, I said. I'll be there. Sunday comes, and nobody is there to be found. Okay then, I'll just drive myself home. Chapter 8. Title: Monaco Guy. Obsessive Compulsive Disorder. New story. OCD should have been his name. I remember crawling under the bed, picking up sand grains of his 4-bedroom home inherited from a family member investment who had passed away. This guy had it made. A fake pretend part-time concierge job in a $10,000 a month condo community in Siesta Key, where he spent an hour changing light bulb in hallways and vacuumed his entrance floors. And what that cop was done is swim in their very long heated pool and hot tubs, sauna and tanning machine. He will receive a $5,000 month payout settlement for his inheritance for the next 4 years, and the house he left in was paid in full and priced around $5,000. Despite his expensive taste in clothing and household items, he acted like a homemaker coffee barista expert. He bought a $2,000 espresso machine, grinder and maker, power with higher volts, and kept the coffee in a freezer. Plus, separate each package in aluminum packages. It was a science to him, but also a flavoring process in order to keep the very core freshness of the coffee ground. He cut his peas and his carrots in tiny squares and spent 3 hours ironing his shirts and pants when he wasn't spending 3 hours mopping the kitchen floor. Claude was a cheat, and I believe he might have gay, possibly, but I can't prove. I just remember him wearing very tiny colorful shorts with top early morning when he heads out for a jog, and always mentioned me the guy dude watching him while gardening. And a few times he enjoyed telling me he was getting hit on in clubs or at the condo. So there was a tiny suspicion, but the real actual gig for him, I believe, is how did I get away from being caught by her? He must have been thinking, I'm a genius. Behind his modest manners and vaguest Catholic values was a disturbed little boy who had just mourned the death of his best friend of 10 years, a Labrador, beautiful dog and companion. He was the main companion who had stuck with him since he had left Monaco and moved to Florida, but to a tragic end one weekend when all the veterinarian clinic had no time or space to help his dog. He returned on Monday after a fighting battle over the phone with corporate managers to win the poor treatment he received over his animal's right as an owner and citizen. The dog had died as soon as he arrived. He had lost him 6 months prior to our relationship and had his picture framed in every single room of his house, including his bedroom nightstand. I was compassionate over his loss, and even though it did seem a little over the top, I wasn't judging, but understanding. We very quickly hit it off over our common rambunctious personality and desire to create and innovate new ideas and explore the rest of the world. At that time, I had got a 2-room and main lobby office for my meditation, hydrotherapy, hypnosis, and massage therapy practice. And he was training for a pilot license in Venice airport while cleaning the condo. I lived in a West Bradenton Mexican style 2-bedroom. We enjoy meeting the neighborhood, including retired police officers, physicians, artists, tourists. We checked out a few new clubs and restaurants, and after 3 months, he insisted for me to abandon my business and do the Tour de France with him and stay in Monaco a week, overview the palace. At this point, I had not returned to France since 2000, so it was almost 4 years. And it was hard to resist because he was buying me a round trip and we were to see the famous car race and visit some people. I had to come to stand that was really close to me. To be continued. Philo reference. And finally, I saw this inscription who said, how you look at things make the words powerfully indispensable. Indeed, I see a song who for a specific audience, an audience with a flair of determination that no matter how much intelligence the world gave us, this only true intellectually matter is the one we don't see. Imagination.